25 years ago, Woodstock was the festival to end all festivals. It changed the lives of 500,000 people. This Sunday, we catch up with some of Woodstock's characters. This couple were pictured on 1 million record covers and posters. Now they're a family.
If you remember Woodstock, you weren't there.
Wavy Gravy was in charge of security. 25 years on, he's still Wavy Gravy. The Children of Woodstock, a documentary from Carlton, Sunday, 11:10 on ITV.
Here on Carlton Next this afternoon, TV Weekly includes a look at an ingredient of those chocolate flake commercials.
On After 5 today, Claire Rayner has some advice for mums in the workplace. And Anthea Turner and Mr. Motivator join us live from Spain.
You'll be amazed at how today's woman has changed, so don't miss out.
Join me tomorrow when I'm going to be meeting a woman who's 1 in 5 million. During the series, we're going to be meeting some very special women, and we're going to be talking about their lives, loves and losses. Our reporter, Krista D'Souza, will be doing some special reports on such spicy topics as obsessive love, HRT, the role of fathers and open marriages. And I'm going to find out things like what sort of underwear do London women like and what it's like to be out on your own. It's a fresh look at women's issues. So join us on 1 in 5 million tomorrow.
Later this evening, Survivor will be looking at one of the most unusual inhabitants of the grasslands of South America. That's at 7:30. This afternoon continues now with TV Weekly.
Hello there and welcome once again to TV Weekly. Well, it may be summer, but it's snowing on the set of Poirot. Today we're on location in Chilham in Kent as David Suchet makes up for the role of the fastidious inspector. We also meet Doctor Who, no, not Doctor Who, Dr. Hoyt, Medic's eccentric professor Tom Baker.
What a day!
And...
oh, God, not Carla Lane again.
yes, I'm afraid it is. We talk to Carla, who's writing a new series. She'll be good from the lady behind Bread, Butterflies and the Liver Birds. So that's what's on the programme today, and it's a warm welcome to my studio guest, Tom Baker. Hello, Tom. Playing eccentrics, larger-than-life characters comes easily to Tom Baker. It's 14 years since Tom swapped that scarf for a mask and gown. Still a doctor, but this time he's being promoted to professor in his role as the flamboyant consultant Geoffrey Hoyt in Medics, a brilliant surgeon who's partial to little classical music as he conducts his operations.
Resecting a portion of Mrs. McCann's stomach so as to take away the ulcer-bearing area. Stop me if there's anything you don't understand.
Nothing like enjoying your job, is there? I'm not sure I'd like to be under his knife.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd like to be under his knife either. That's actually the first thing that's the first time I've ever seen any of Medics, I think. Oh, second time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, what about Hoyt? I mean, did you make him up as you went along?
Well, yes, I mean, I don't want to... yes, I did make... you know, I went to a few consultants for my medicals, and, you know, like most actors do, try to do a synthesis of stories I'd heard about great surgeons, you know, who are very different, apparently, from great physicians. And they did seem generally to be a bunch of show-offs, and so I came up with that's such as it is, you know. I really, but rather timid in television, I really wanted to play this great surgeon who had only accidentally become a surgeon and really wanted to be Tommy Cooper. But at Granada they wouldn't allow that, no. And so, that's right, it's sad, but there we are. So it's a compromise. Hoyt's a compromise. It really should have been.
Well, he's certainly larger than life, I'll tell you. At the end of the last series, he was in a car crash. Was it really true that you didn't know whether he would live or die at the end of the series?
Indeed, it is true. I said to the producer, Tony Dennis, I said, Tony, do I survive? And he said, Tom, it depends on the figures. He said, if the figures are high, you miraculously survive. If the figures are low, we never hear of you again.
Well, thank goodness people like it.
Well, that's right. I'm eternally grateful. Thank you very much to the people who actually reincarnated me.
Well, we have to say, Tom, yeah, being a doctor, I suppose you're used to being the reincarnation thing. Things do seem to be looking up for this Hoyt character in Medics now in more ways than one, because in next week's episode, it looks as though there's romance on the way.
I'm going to ask my senior Reg to do these checkups from now on.
You mean I'm no longer deserving of your valuable time?
Frankly, no. You're far too well to be of any interest.
Demoted from the exalted condition of a patient to a mere human being. Or is it the other way round?
I'm not sure.
Well, whichever, we should mark the transition. I'll take you out to lunch.
You will? Where?
That was the Helen Lomax, the plastic surgeon. Yeah, which is nice because there was sadness in Hoyt's life. I mean, he lost his wife.
Oh, well, yes, but I mean, nobody can possibly be interesting unless there's sadness in their lives. I mean, if you meet someone who has no sadness in their lives, it's not like meeting anyone with no past. If you meet someone without a past, I don't mean in the sense that a woman has to have a past. We all have a past. But people without sadness in their lives couldn't possibly be interesting. Yeah. But I think... You don't look, I only like it really when people agree with me.
No, I'm sure, because I was thinking back to your time at Doctor Who, and we're going to talk about that later, obviously. And whether you have sadness leaving that part behind or not, we'll talk about that. But Medics has given you your first regular TV profile, your first really regular TV profile since then, hasn't it?
Well, yes, it has, but that's only because now, you know, I look rather like an old war memorial, and people have forgotten what I looked like. But I mean, when I was Doctor Who, it had such a bigger influence that naturally most of the producers who are likely to employ me had grown up watching Doctor Who, and so they couldn't, disconnect me from the TARDIS, and so they were rather reluctant to give me anything else. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all, but I'm glad to be back in Medics.
Well, it's good to see you back, Tom. It's good to see you back. Stay with us and we'll talk throughout the programme for the rest of the day. Actually, it's that time of year again. Christmas. Well, it is in TV terms. Lots of Christmas specials are being recorded about this time of year, including Poirot's.
It's a bleak, cold setting, a perfect backdrop for dastardly deeds. But as with any Agatha Christie, nothing's what it seems. And where would we be without our mystery lady dressed in black? Today we're on location in appropriately Chilham in Kent, where a white Christmas is guaranteed.
It's a combination of paper mulch and foam, which is sprayed on. The paper mulch stays down much longer than the foam and looks a lot better and doesn't actually pick up on people's feet like the foam does, so it looks more real. It's quite expensive, but in the sense that it's quite heavy on manpower.
Acting in the snow is all in a day's work for David Suchet. Characterisation is crucial. Popeye has the muscles, Poirot the moustache.
The moment the moustache goes on, I become him. It has a life of its own, I must say that. In case one of them droops, or it becomes too wet in the rain, or I'm sipping too much tea and it sort of drips into the cup. We have some of its little brothers and sisters over there.
Over the years, the moustache has changed considerably.
You'll never get a false moustache to be identical every single episode. And in any case, and this is no justification that the moustache changes slightly, we thought that the first moustache was a bit too ornate. And then the second moustache we thought was getting right, and we feel that we've just about got it now. The moustache of Hercule Poirot himself has at least 20 different descriptions in Agatha Christie. Sometimes it's a military stiff moustache there. In Murder on the Orient Express, it's the moustache I wear, which is just level with the tip of his nose and very neat and tidy.
It's not only the moustache that's false. Physically, Poirot is portly, not like slimline Suchet.
Well, that's achieved by a great deal of padding. This is all padding. There's no need for me to take anything off to show you, but it takes me from a 32.5 waist to about a 45, 46 waist. But it's all across my chest. My arms are my own, but across my back as well is padded, right down to my waist and groin. And my neck is sitting on a wing collar, which thank goodness he wore, so I can, when I'm playing Poirot, I can sit like this. But in fact, it's illusion.
Illusion, then, is all part of the supreme success of Poirot. The 6th series will be out in December, when no doubt real snow will be crisp and even.
A lot of people have said to me, you know, why is it that Poirot is so popular if he's so pompous and has those, you know, fanatical about order and cleanliness and all the rest of it? And my only answer is that I think that the public must find him fascinating and interesting and amusing to have bought all the books that they have done. I mean, Agatha Christie's Poirot books are perhaps one of the most successful of fiction crime stories ever.
But you know, the thing that really sets Poirot apart just has to be that walk.
Well, it was something that I had to really work on. Because if I tell you, it will sound very odd, but it's a question of trying to walk in the same way as he's described by Agatha Christie in one of her books. And I can't remember the book, but it was that he walked in his usual mincing strides, with his feet tightly enclosed in shiny patent leather shoes. And I got an image of him walking like that. And if I squeeze my bottom muscles very tight, I can just about get the mincing stride that I think is right for him. The secret is out.
David Suchet's secrets as Poirot there. It sounds painful. Maybe you should see a doctor, Tom Baker. Do you ever put as much... well, obviously, I'm sure you do as an actor, but have you ever been faced with any challenges re-walking?
No, I haven't. Anyway, I wouldn't approach it like that. I mean, the genius of Suchet is that, you know, you get this little short-legged prig, you know, with his clenched buttocks, is that David makes him charming and alluring,
yes,
and you want to be with him, whereas in the books, you know, he's so precious. He's rather boring, I think. But David's genius is that he makes him so lovable. Because, I mean, we don't want to be with prigs and bores. Doesn't matter how clever they are. And he understands that. He's a marvellous actor.
And he's also, David Suchet is a very nice man himself, I think, which helps bring the warmth to the character. A bit like yourself. Anyway, we're now going to talk about 4 lovely ladies. And these lovely ladies are linked by one TV advert. The question is, can you guess which one it is? Well, it's one of the longest-running campaigns on TV, 30 girls over 30 years, and they've all sampled a certain crumbly, flaky chocolate bar. There's a mystery surrounding the girl in the black and white ad. Nobody knows her name or what's happened to her, so if any TV Weekly sleuths can shed a little light on that one, write and let us know. Eva Ruber-Steyer was the girl on the skis, a former Miss World who went on to become a TV presenter and an actress. The gypsy girl wandering through the Van Gogh landscape 10 years later, actress Janice Lee Burns. And finally, there's Rachel Brown, the bathing beauty who forgot to turn off the tap. And this week, the 31st girl hit our screens for the first time. Apparently, they wanted an Audrey Hepburn lookalike, and the girl chosen from thousands of applicants, a French model called Micheline van der Velde. Each year, they choose a different location for these ads as well. They've already gone through 30 worldwide, so the choice of a new one gets more difficult. Recognize this one? It's not Rome or Venice. They tried those places, but decided on Prague. It's not surprising it takes a year to put together an ad like this. But once they're all on the plane, nothing must be left behind, particularly one important box, and that's full of enough chocolate bars for as many takes as it eventually takes to get it right.
How many flakes did I eat? Well, I know that there were about 80 flakes, and I think I had a bite of about 70 of them. Yeah.
Ads such as these become as famous as many of the programs that come in between, and careers have been built on these 30-second films, both for the models and indeed for the directors such as Ridley Scott and Adrian Lyne, who went on to direct blockbuster movies. For each commercial, they shoot 12,000 feet of film for 30 seconds on screen and spend hours editing, even days in some cases, all to encourage you to fork out for a flake. And finally, there's the music.
Tastes like chocolate never tasted before.
Classic music for a classic ad campaign. A lot of work for a lot of people. But let's now take a look at the finished product, which they hope will persuade you to part with your money. Bet you never knew there was so much to it. And talking of adverts, it's time for us to take a break. After that, sitcom writer Carla Lane on Life, Liverpool, and all her TV hits since...
Last year, Thomas Cook helped millions of travellers with their holiday money. They helped them change their dosh into dollars, their folding into francs, their lolly into lira, their acres into drachma, and their spondoolies into shekels. So when you need holiday money instantly, take a Thomas Cook at us.
From Vision Express, you can have prescription sunglasses worth at least £89 absolutely free. Just buy a new pair of glasses or contact lenses and we'll give you a pair of prescription sunglasses, even bifocals or varifocals, free.
I came to Vision Express for the 2-for-1 offer and had 2 pairs of glasses made within the hour.
I got 2 pair of prescription glasses, one of which were a pair of sunglasses in a little over an hour.
Free prescription sunglasses, even bifocals and varifocals, in the 2-for-1 offer at Vision Express.
Call that a toothbrush?
I'd call it a car wash. I think it looks different.
But it's got bristles that are all different lengths. It's the new Colgate Precision.
New Colgate Precision, with its unique 3-bristle system, gets into the gaps, helps gently remove plaque from along the gums, and cleans so thoroughly that you can actually feel the difference.
Well, how was it for you? Amazing. The plaque moved.
The new Colgate Precision. Nothing else looks like it or feels like it.
The tea in Britain. Typhoo.
Are you sure you haven't missed anything? Here we are. Enjoy your meal.
Cheers. Cheers.
Oh, those look nice. Go on, try one.
There's a lot more to harvest than meets the mouth.
If I'm going to make the most of my day, I need to set myself up well. Time can fly with a family and a job, so it's nice to have a moment to myself.
New Quaker Feast of Flakes. A delicious combination of cereals with toasted oats and a hint of honey. A unique blend your body takes in slowly to help you keep a sense of well-being. Quaker. Start as you mean to go on.
Neris Hughes and Polly James there as the liver birds. But did you know one of the liver birds down through the years was a Boswell? No relation, of course, to the Boswell family in bread. But does the name Boswell have some deep and meaningful significance to the woman who created both series, Carla Lane? Well, Carla has been working on her 10th TV series. This one is her first for ITV. And Esther McVeigh, also from Liverpool, went to meet her at her home in Sussex.
The things they say, oh God, not Carla Lane again. Oh God, not her and her animals again. And oh God, not Liverpool again.
But soon the critics will be saying a few more things because there's a new series on the way. It's called Searching. But unlike these others, there's no Liverpool, no animals, but it is written by Carla Lane.
It's about 4 women, 5 women actually, who are in a refuge home. It's an experimental home, subsidised by the council, and it's for people who have committed very trivial crimes.
Searching's a far cry from the happy-go-lucky friends who shared a flat back in the 70s, and flats aren't all her characters have shared.
Well, never mind. We've got this sleeping bag. Yeah.
The name Boswell has cropped up a few times. I began to write a book years ago called Stopping Place, and it was about gypsies. And the girl's name was Rhea Boswell. And I won a prize with this for the first chapter of a first novel, and then I lost, when I had written half the book, I moved house and lost all the pages and never actually picked it up again. And it was lucky, a lucky name, so I used it in the liver birds. And then I used Rhea for butterflies, and I used Boswell again for bread. I can't do that anymore, of course, but it was lucky. I'm very superstitious about things. When I finish a script, I throw all the pages in the air. If I don't do it, I feel the script won't be right. I write my scripts on the back of other scripts which worked and which were good. And if I don't write them on the back of those, I think it's not going to be any good. I have all this neurosis, you know, it's madness.
Inspiration isn't a problem for Carla. If there's ink in a pen and paper lying around, Carla can knock out books and dramas at the rate of a programme a fortnight.
I had to very quickly do another programme. And I sat in Kensington Church Street, and I saw this man crossing the road, and he was obviously angry. He was trying to get a taxi. And I found myself saying, why are you angry? I know. You've had a row with your wife, haven't you? And then he gets in this taxi and slams the door, and I thought, and you're having an affair, and you can't handle it, can you? And you find a certain face triggers you off. I can write a whole series just on looking at a face, and it makes me ask questions, you know, and I have to answer them. I write on trains, in taxis. I love writing in my car, parking somewhere and writing.
Besides being a human writing machine, churning out series like Butterflies, Solo and Screaming, she also is dedicated to animals. She rises at 6 every morning to tend for her own collection of rescued and abused animals, which provide her with quiet moments to contemplate and even ideas for future work.
I have been very careful about using my work to talk about the other passion. I did the character Lucian, who was crazy about his rabbits. Joey was a vegetarian in bread, but very subtly so. In fact, I think it was only mentioned once. But when I wrote Love, I thought, now is the time to let everybody know how I feel. And I gave the character Darwin all the thoughts that I have about animals.
It's not just this city, it's everywhere. Competition, greed, the ruthless pursuit of material things. And when you're successful, when you finally get there, all the rest complain. Except animals, they don't complain. They don't care about how much money you've got.
You're dead right, Darwin. They don't care whether they pee on an old newspaper or a satin bedspread.
Carla Lane's Love, starring your Sue Johnson, who's in Medics.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. You're a famous son of Liverpool.
Well, yeah, I suppose I am a bit well known, yes, but I come from, yes, I'm from Liverpool, yes.
Yeah.
It was there that I got started, you know. It's so wonderful. Sometimes people wonder why so many Liverpool people are famous. And it's a sort of city that was so awful in many ways. You know, you had to get out of it, which required some energy. I spent a lot of time loitering at Lime Street Station, thinking about the way out.
Yeah, well, the way out, and the thing that made you famous, of course, was Doctor Who. And let's now travel back in time to 1976 to look at Tom in the role that we all remember him in. Now, don't be offended by this question, but looking at that clip and seeing you as Professor Hoyt, and seeing you in the flesh in the studio today, 3 different hairdos. Which, I mean, was the Doctor Who hair real, or was that a wig?
No, it was real, but I mean, I cut my hair off afterwards because I was identified with long, curly hair, and I got tired of that and thought I would have a more severe hairstyle, yeah.
And you were the longest-serving Doctor,
I did, yes, I did 178 episodes, yeah. I'm a big star in Abu Dhabi.
You're a big star worldwide, for goodness sake. I have to just get to this week's competition. It's a test of time, obviously, concerning Doctor Who's TARDIS. Now, the TARDIS was a time machine which took the Doctor through time and space, but its outside appearance was rather more ordinary, so it's a very simple question this week. What did the TARDIS appear to be on the outside? And just send your answers to this address, Competition TV Weekly in Southampton, or of course you've got the prize line as well. There's the number on the screen. Now, last week we asked for the year Home and Away was first seen over here. The answer we were looking for is not.